Everyone, thank you for being here. This meeting is being held with the benefit of public notice as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll?
Ms. Phillips?
Here.
Mr. Whalen?
Here.
Mr. Papero?
Here.
Mr. Ty?
Here.
Mr. Carabelli absent.
Would everybody please rise for the salute to the flag?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome to the budget workshop for April 16th. Kathy, thank you for joining us. Chris, you have a couple of employees that we haven't met with you
Oh,
today.
well, I'm very pleased to bring with us some of our stellar employees from our health department. We have our Chief Administrative Assistant, Jessica Purdy, who is Chris's right and left hand most of the time. And we have Eric Cooperwich, I always get the name wrong, who is our other pot of gold. He's also our health inspector, but he has our health officer's license. So when Chris goes astray, we have Eric who jumps in there to help out. So we have two of the best with us tonight. They're here to observe because you never know when they need to fill in. So right now, I think that's important. I love an opportunity for learning and teaching. And so that's really why they're here tonight.
Great. Well, thank you.
Our pleasure.
So did you have opening remarks that you'd like to start with?
Well, we're pleased to present to you our 2025 budget. We have given you the best budget we can possibly do to survive in these tight times. So with that being said, Chris will go over the health budget. Nicole will be here shortly to help us with our recreation budget, and I'll handle our senior budget. If you don't mind, I'll pick the order in which we go so that I can try to make this as painless as possible for all of you.
Great. Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to start, since Nicole has not arrived yet, just do your senior citizen budget. It's pretty basic. There's nothing changed here. And that would be
So you got to
senior
give us a
citizen-
second since we're jumping around.
I
We
will
need
give you
to.
that. Did you want me to read you
We
the,
can start with, I mean,
the
if
numbers.
it's easier, we can start with animal control or environmental too.
Well,
That's easier.
we just have to catch up in
our.
our binder, that's
Yeah.
all. Just give us a second. You said you want to start with,
senior citizens
all right,
program?
so just give us just a second. Let's see, I see animal control. Hold on.
Most likely, it's the very last thing.
See Azalea Fest. See Bromley.
Why don't we just do it according to the sheets that
Well,
it's
because
listed and do July?
Kathy asked us to go in an order that,
I understand, but it's probably easier us to page through if we started out with the order that we have it in the books, so we're not constantly searching.
All right, so the book has it in alphabetical order.
Starts at July 4th.
So it starts at 4th of July and then goes to animal control. So if you didn't have anything to say about.
Well, I don't have anything to say right now about 4th of July because Nicole isn't here and she's on her way. So if you'd like to start with animal control, I can concede to do that,
I'm
sir.
fine with that.
All right.
Makes it easier.
Yep.
okay, let's see.
Here she is.
Look at that.
Or you want to,
We'll do animal control, then we'll go to Azalea Fest, okay? We'll go backwards.
all right, let me see now. Where does animal control start?
Yeah,
Animal
bring it to
control
fireworks.
services, I found it. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so if you take a look at our animal control services, and you have any questions, I don't believe we've changed much. Chris can address any increases. Most of them are material increases, charging from vendors and contracts for different programs.
This is animal control, right?
Yeah.
The big jump is the salaries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If you could just talk about that.
So the vast majority is going to be contractual raises and steps. We did also include an increase in our part-timers. So there is, I believe, about 27,000 additional for part-timers included in that. So in addition to the 3 part-timers that we've had budgeted previously, so this will allow, 1 to 2 more part-timers depending on the hours that we need. So
Chris, I'm sorry, when I'm looking at this page over here, which has your personnel numbers, why aren't I seeing an increase in the number of employees requested here?
It may be in the part-time piece, because I
Yeah.
think that's what he's talking about. The addition here is part-time attendance.
Yeah.
So we've listened, right, and heard council too make remarks and about perhaps increasing staffing, so,
Can I
So-
show you what I'm looking at?
yeah.
Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing.
And this might be a question for Thomas as well, because he's the one that kind of pulls this together.
Animal attendant, part-time, 3 last year, 3 this year, animal attendant.
So if you go to animal attendant, new position,
They're gonna be requesting for
Yeah, Chris, the number we're looking at is the 33% increase.
Yeah.
It's
you
going
should have
from
it here.
6 something
Right.
to 875.
yes.
So 2 part-timers doesn't really make
And
you up
then-
100 and something.
But,
Yeah, so-
I mean, and this again will be a Thomas question, but
Okay.
the percent increase for the, 15 employees that I have, it adds up,
So I have 148 officers in my department, a 2% raise is 161,000. You don't have,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to figure out. It's 100 and, it's almost.
121,000.
No, it's a
No,
220.
220.
It's a $220,000 difference, that's why I'm just, look, we
Yeah,
want to give
no.
more employees, we're for it.
Yeah.
We've been trying to do this for a couple of years. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to put on the record why the big increase, that's all.
Okay, so I mean, the request that I have in the budget in front of me is we have the additional of the part-time position, so I have 27 plus 45 for part-timers, and then everything else, and then we also have the volunteer coordinator as well for 15, which has been filled, so that's technically a new position for this year. And then the rest would be overtime is also in that. That's 35. We went up 5,000 from last year.
Yeah, but that's the next column, that's not even
That's
that
separate.
column. We want to give more
Yeah.
employees, we're just trying to make sure
Okay.
everything, that the
Yeah.
numbers add up, that's all.
And
Yeah.
one of the concerns that we've had
Yeah.
is ACO hours and coverage with ACOs, and that's one of the things that we've talked about
Yeah.
a lot. And I don't see an ACO increase included in this, do I?
No, the only position, I'm sorry, Kathy.
No,
were you
go
saying-
ahead.
Oh, so the only positions that we're adding were the volunteer coordinator position, and then we had an increase in the part-timers. So, I mean, I don't know if Thomas or Kathy, if you can step in for the total increase, but the amount that we received was based, the increases across the board for salaries. There's no promotions that I'm aware of in our budget or additional staff members outside of those.
Just part-time are the addition, right, for the animal attendants, and the idea is that's going to free up some of the ACO time for all of the time that they're putting in to do more ACO work, right? Because right now, they currently have them doing a lot of that attendant work as well, mixed in with, right, all of the other duties that they do. So we'll see how that goes, and by adding the attendants, hopefully we can, free up the ACOs to be able to
So my question.
make sure they make all their
My
calls.
question remains, there's a $221,000 increase. I would just like an answer, because 3 part-timers
Yep.
doesn't add up to that.
Yep.
It's very, very simple question. We're just trying to put on the record why it's going up 33%.
So, well, part of it, 15,000 of it is overtime, right?
Overtime's in the next line, right?
Yes, all right, I was looking at the total on the bottom, for the total is 910,
The
and
number's gone
last year,
from 654 to 875. We're just looking,
well, that's actual spent,
Right.
so, but they budgeted 730, and it goes to 875, so I don't know how much extra is in for the part-time attendants?
27.
Right.
Is the calculation correct in the math part of that, Thomas? 'Cause-
The math isn't adding up. I
Right,
mean,
that's
to
what
have one more
Yeah.
part-time
We wanna give you
person
more-
and for it to,
So
And I'll take it. but
I will
let's
take
make
her- we will
sure
all
we're
take her
just
money.
charge us
Yeah.
any
We're just
last year
trying to make-
for
we're
either
Because what we're all
or-
talking about does not seem
our-
like that.
We're just trying to make sense of the numbers.
Number.
That's all. The numbers don't jive with
Because
the information you're giving us.
your
That's all.
number that was requested is 0.
Yeah.
It says you requested
I'm talking
nothing.
about when we budgeted
Yeah, because the way that
last year.
typically, when we've been working with, in
Now we
regards
have
to
a budget
salary
of
and wage is
910
finance
this year,
gives us the
right?
number, because
What's
they
the difference?
prorate, so let's
So I'm
say,
thinking it's last
I know I'm on a July 1 step increase. I'm not getting my whole step increase spread across all
Understood.
12 months. They prorate it, so that's finance comes in, they do all that math, and then they give us the numbers. So that's why it's not showing in the admin's printout here.
Yeah, it's
But-
blank, but every
Yeah.
other department that comes in,
Then-
every other
then
line
if we have
item.
to, yeah, for some reason, the last couple of years, we haven't put that, but we'll make sure moving forward that we put that in.
So you're talking last year. I'm trying to get at budget last year that may have been understated because it wasn't fully staffed yet. Sometimes we pull out monies from the budget. We don't budget for the full year because we have a vacancy. And I believe there was one new position in last year that we only partially budgeted. That is probably fully budgeted this year, so that may account for some of the difference. But I want to get for you exactly what the difference between last year and this year is so that you know.
So typically, we're on the requested column, there's a line there. There's no requested number. So usually it's easy for us to figure out there's just missing information.
Right. Well, we don't typically put the requested amount in there for the salary and wage line item because we kind of do that separate from the O&E. And we work on the salary and wage and we kind of piece that together first based on what we currently have. Then we get it to the staff and they've already submitted their O&E budgets, but at the end, they give us their salary and wage budget also if they're recommending hiring or other promotions. So we do not have the recommended in the
It's in every
salary
other
and wage.
department.
It is?
It's under the mayor, it's under council, I'm just going backwards, and it is,
Yeah.
All right, well. we
it's under
missed
the
that
court.
one. So we missed totally on this one for salary and wage. Sorry about that. But I'm going to get you answers for that because these are all valid questions and I want to make sure that we have it right too, right?
It's gonna
And
be a
we're
tight
giving you
budget.
the
We're
right
just
numbers.
Making sure we're
Yep.
going through it a fine tooth comb.
Got it.
You know, I mean, obviously the plans are to hire part-time attendants or one part-time attendant.
In the budget as presented, we have upwards of 5 positions available part-time. So the way that I always look at it is it's a pool, so we know that we have the administration has, we're presenting an additional 27,000 for part-timers on top of the 45 we've had previously. So that's, if I'm doing, what is that, 60, 50 some, $1,000, 75 or so that we can hire part-timers, and whether that is 2 people who work, 29 hours a week, or if it's, 6 people working 5 hours a week, it adds up just to match our need to kind of be more flexible
Because it's 7 days a week.
yeah. And some people just want, we have a part-timer right now who, they have a full-time job. They just want weekends and holidays, and it's been great. And we need more people like that. And if we can find more people who have more flexible schedules outside of the traditional Monday through Friday, then that would be great.
If, I got to tell you, it's a tight budget year.
Yes.
And if there was one place that I was looking to see an increase in resources allocated, it would have been to ACO hours. Because it just, that's been an ongoing issue that we've talked about a lot.
But
So-
can I just jump in there? Remember, 2 of my animal attendants also have animal control officer licenses, so I pull them out when I need them,
Yeah. And that would come out of our OT line.
which is our overtime line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we kind of tried to do 2 things with the same amount of money. We have animal attendants that are full-time, and they also have their animal control officer license, so when we need to pull them out as that, they're in our pool of pulling them out for overtime.
Yes. And then the only thing I would piggyback off of that is, if we did find, and it's, up to the administration, I don't personally see, and again, this would be, up to the administration is, if we have to change the title from attendant to part-time ACO, I don't foresee that being an issue if that's really the need is or the desire to increase our, personnel to do a specific title. Even though it's budgeted as an attendant, they would be making similar, hourly rates, or we can adjust them that way.
When did those part-time employees get their licenses, their ACO licenses?
Last year,
Jeremy?
So in the past 12 months or so?
I believe, yeah, our
So
one
there has been
attendant,
an increasing capacity.
Yes, absolutely.
Even though we're not seeing it reflected in an increase in the number of folks with the ACO title at this time.
yeah, correct. So the way
The
that,
civil service title, but they have the
Yeah.
capacity with the license as another animal attendant title to go out and do that out of title and get paid overtime.
yeah, and they get paid out of title, they get paid at the ACO
differential.
rate. During those hours, they're functioning as an ACO, and we've had it where, the one, really, it's one attendant that does most of the hours, the ACO hours, because the other one's still training. If they need to fill in, like if somebody's calling out or we're short ACOs, and we can just switch the hours and he just gets paid at that ACO rate and functions in that regard. So that's really been I think a really good positive. So kind of, getting both ends of the stick there. They can do the attendant duties and that's their primary job, but then backfill our ACO hours and be on the on-call list as well. So we've increased our on-call by one person. And once the second person gets up and running and is more confident about being on the road and operating solo, then we'll have another person on. And I think that's a great way to move forward, having kind of the dual roles there.
Animal shelter questions, guys. What other questions do we have for
Just looking through.
Kathy and Chris? When is our next Board of Health meeting? Allison, do you?
It's May 20th.
May 20th?
You're welcome. and I promise it won't be 2 hours. Oh, I say that now, and you never know.
It is what it is. We never know.
We have a
how
lot
long
to
they're
say.
Can, I don't have a
Maybe we'll
specific,
let Eric run it, he doesn't say much.
I don't have a
Works for me.
specific question, about the budget, but since we're talking about adding positions, can we have, maybe one of the people that we add or a couple of the people dedicate some more time to advertising the pets? I'm sorry, I'm trying to be over Allison's head at both of you guys.
Slide over a
Keep
little.
going back and forth.
There you go.
Sorry, Allison. Maybe we could have one of those people dedicated to doing a little more with the social media. If you're trying to sell a car, you want to advertise it. If you want to, I wanted to get them out to give them as much of an opportunity to be seen by shelters, by potential adopters. Anything we can do to maybe get them more access to the computer. Right now, we're running at about 25% there's 106 days this year, and there's only 25 or 24 posts for the year about dogs. 5 of the dogs are pretty good. One had 5 posts, the other 4 had 2 posts. That means the other 30-something dogs had no posts.
It's
That's a little worrisome.
Yeah, it's an area improvement for sure, and something that we definitely have to continue leveraging, working with the mayor's office and their staff person there, and then additional, making additional time with staff on the health side, or health and animal shelter side as well.
Even if it's the same post and we have somebody on light duty or an intern, right? Just somebody to get in there and do, with the social media, just keep sharing those pages. You never know. If you have, say you have 100 friends, which I'm sure most people do, right, on social media, you don't get to see every person's or every page you like. But maybe the more that it's increased, if we could maybe spend a couple dollars to advertising, right? So that you hit certain people's algorithms so that it's going to more people.
Yeah, we have used advertised with, Meta in previously. It's just, it's just on the back end, not that it's really an excuse, it's a pain in the butt for billing wise, because it's every $75 you have to do a new rec and a new PO and a drawdown. So it does, just increase, the back end time as well. But it's something that we've done before. We do have a small advertising budget that we can work with as well. But, we want to keep access just as far as quality control, limited to who has access to the social media pages, but I know that a lot of the staff members also reshare and within their own networks the posts and everything.
How many people have access to that right now, that page?
I believe it should be for myself, Danielle, Ava, and Bianca.
And I get that you want to take care with those posts. You don't want to oversell an animal. We've seen what can happen when we don't want any I understand that you're trying to be cautious. We've seen, we're talking about animals can be dangerous. We've had people get injured in the past, and it would be great if we never have anyone get injured by but these things are going to happen with the dogs. So I understand that there's a certain amount of caution that needs to be built in. And maybe that makes it a little harder. But how cumbersome is the rec process for doing Facebook ads? Is it pretty cumbersome?
So, it depends on how often you're doing it and all of that. I think we can probably work out a way and maybe even just do a blanket PO for advertising, and you could dump everything in there, right? And pay it as it happens.
Give them a little more leeway to
Yeah.
make some tactical moves when the shelter's getting fuller.
Yeah.
Put some, try to reach more.
Yeah.
Oh, and then just thankfully we have Jess here as well. It is we have to use the credit card only. That's the one thing she did say. And, it's, again, we normally have it on the blanket, but then you have to, every time it hits, we have to then pay it. Not, again, it's all back end stuff that, we've done before and we can handle. And then the only thing also, as far as, being out there more, this is why we hired our volunteer coordinator. And this is going to be the job, and hopefully, kind of leveraging our volunteers more to be out in the community, to get more live events out and getting more animals out in front of the public in different spaces. And I'm hopeful that this year we'll actually be able to, really, get that ball rolling, which will be good.
Chris, this is not criticism. None of what we said is, because
I know,
we're behind you. We speak highly of you. It's what you have all done with the shelter and everything. You've turned it around to, instead of getting criticisms, we're getting compliments. So it's not that. Just some ideas. When I look at something, maybe if we got the dogs out more, maybe if we tag the mayor, or maybe if we tag the Hamilton page, maybe that'll get more people's attention. I'm just trying to.
We take no offense. We certainly know that it is
it's not,
a major
it's nothing negative,
improvement,
trust me.
thanks to Chris and the entire staff. So no worries there.
Just trying to get, we don't want to go down that path with the dogs. I don't think anybody wants to see anything bad happen, but the longer they stay, the greater the chances it's going to go down.
And I think there's ways, and basically we need to get better at scheduling out posts. That way there's a weekly, it's all pre-scheduled, similar to kind of what the mayor's office does with their posts and everything. They know what's going out 1 or 2 weeks in advance, and we just have to get better at doing that and making time to make that happen. But I don't take it as criticism. I mean, you're right. We do need to get better, especially at some of that advertising.
Always room for improvement.
Yes.
Right?
We just want to make sure you have the
Quality
resources.
improvement. That's what our health is all about.
We know you've been running things on a shoestring there. We want to make sure you have the resources you need. Do you think that the part-time attendant is going to help with the amount of walks that you're going to be able to get the dogs?
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal right now. And I don't want to jinx ourselves, but capacity-wise, we have the capacity for every single dog to be getting out on a weekly basis, and it's something that we can talk further about at the Board of Health meeting. But there has been some policy changes and implementations that we've done recently at the shelter to ensure that dogs are getting out more frequent.
And documentation and accountability.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I just think that could go a long way to making dogs more adoptable. I mean, since it was pointed out by an advocate, it's just one of those things where the light bulb went off for me. If dogs aren't getting walks, they're not going to be well behaved.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely. We agree.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm good.
We're ready to move on to the next topic, Kathy.
Okay, so if you want to take a look at your recreation budget, you do have Azalea Fest. Nicole is not feeling well, so she may have to leave. So if you had any questions on anything that's jumping out at you prior, I'll go over everything in detail and answer it to the best of my ability. She's here just to support me on that, but if for some reason she has to leave, she will.
Azalea Fest. Thank you for joining us. Sorry you don't feel well.
Thank you. I do, if I have to get up and run, I will leave. Happy to meet this.
I have one.
If you want to run, you can run.
Do you have
We're-
any questions and with anything throughout our vote? I hate to do this to you, but I haven't been right all afternoon.
I mean, the Azalea Fest, the only difference I see is maybe you're hiring entertainment this year. Is that the?
We always do.
Yeah,
You always do.
been-
So I don't really see any I don't see any items that I need to discuss. Anybody got anything?
If we have questions, we can always just
No.
ask them there, right?
Yeah, we'll circle back if we come up with questions that maybe Kathy can answer.
Same thing, 4th of July's same. Azalea Fest.
Go ahead.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I
we don't wanna-
apologize. The only thing I have is Carrie's NVR,
Then I just have to care about that.
and I have the printout.
Bromley Center.
Okay, I'll take a look at that one.
If you have any questions, I'll be in the office. Just shoot me an email or give me a call. I apologize, but
Feel better.
Please.
Feel better.
Feel better.
Do you guys mind if we go to Bromley Center next? Because that's the
Wherever
next
you
thing in
want.
our order.
Just gotta find it in my order.
We get lost in these binders. It's kind of hard
See it.
to,
I don't know why all of our binders aren't the same. Mine are according to my numbers.
yeah, I know
Not out of order.
you guys always have binders that are in a different order than our binders for some reason.
It's right after Azalea.
I was trained the right way. I just go in the right order. My wife trained me perfectly. Just the way-
So Bromley Center, any comments on the Bromley Center? Anything that you want to put an emphasis
No,
on?
Bromley and the Wilson Center are both under an agreement with the township, and that would be the Wilson Center LLC and the CYO running the Bromley Center. So I think we're in good shape with both. I have no questions or concerns. You can see what we pay them monthly or quarterly, depending on the contract agreement.
We just had the Bromley cleanup. That was probably Chuck's guys out there doing the Bromley cleanup.
And your cleanups
Yeah, I heard good things.
in the
I
rain.
heard it went well. But-
The only thing I would note is just briefly is that we're under contract with them. We go out to RFP and we do a 3-year lease agreement. And so,
Yeah, same with Wilson.
Wilson's not up yet. I
No.
think they're good through next year, I believe.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, and then Bromley's up at the end of this year, so we will, by the end of the year, go out to RFP again with, we don't expect anything really different, and we'll see what happens during that process. The one thing that we have to look at in the RFP is that we do provide a part-time staff member for Bromley there, and which is federally funded. So we're just keeping an eye on that, and we're not sure if we're going to have to change the specs in the RFP to comment on that. Like if we lose the funding, that there will have to be some alternative thought of. So it's just to keep in the back of your head. Not for this budget, because we're good for this year, because we have it there. But other than that, it might change slightly next year. Hopefully not.
I know we do the daycare at Bromley.
They have a Head
Among the
Start program, I
services.
believe, and they do Head Start
Mhm.
at Wilson Center as well.
Let's see, Cruiser Mansion. How's the mansion?
Oh, they're fine.
It's cold.
Old.
Oh, it's old.
We went by environmental health.
Yeah, the only question I had back on the environmental health page, I saw the salaries went up 16%. Did we add a new employee there?
No, but we are budgeting because of we did lose grant funding. I'm not sure how much the council is looped in, but we did lose a significant amount of funding from the federal funding cuts. So we did add in to a part to cover the gap from that, to basically move one person part-time onto township budget. So that's filling in that vacant clerical role. So we're moving one of the health aides that was on the grant partly onto the budget to be able to keep that position.
Thank you.
So we're going from environmental now to cruiser mansion?
Mine says Grafton House, but
Okay, go
Yeah.
there. Wherever you want to go, just let me know.
Grafton.
Grafton it is.
I don't have any questions on,
no, not Grafton.
I'm down to Oktoberfest, but I don't know.
Just to let you know, Grafton House is being very highly promoted. Zion is extremely busy, and therefore Grafton is the next best thing, so that people are going there or renting it out. We're getting great revenue from that. We're also adding to both Zion and Grafton a bridal suite, which is enticing brides that want to rent our houses have an area where they can go and they can get ready, because otherwise they're out in the middle of the house with the guests, and they really are requiring that. So it's helping promote revenue forwarding, as we called it, to be able to get more income for those houses. So we're really very proud of that. So any changes and improvements you'll see has been helpful.
Many weddings at Sang Gardens?
Oh,
these days?
yes, a ton of weddings,
Yeah.
they're booked on the weekends.
It's a nice
Their
venue.
gazebos are booked. Nottingham Ballroom's picking up. It's a great opportunity to get married at the gazebo at Sayin and walk across the street to a ballroom now, where you can't accommodate that number at Zion.
That's
So
actually a nice
it's really
arrangement.
kind of working out very nicely. A lot of work for the girls, but they're doing a great job at it.
Pat said it's not a good walk in high heels.
Yeah, hopefully the brides have a change of shoes to walk all the way over there.
By the time they're married, they probably just take them off and run.
I wanted to actually talk about the ballroom for a second. What's the revenue that we get from the ballroom? Is that listed anywhere?
That revenue
I'll tell you why I'm asking. I
goes
know,
into our general fund, so we somewhere have a
so
chart on
the reason I'm asking is I know I was contacted by two separate nonprofits, one being the Red Cross, and they like to use that for a blood drive. They don't have the money to pay whatever the fee was for the blood drive. And I understand when I had approached somebody in this building about it, it was, look, if we waive it for one 501c3, we have a whole other host. So I was just curious if there was a different rate that we could charge a 501c3 if it's for a community event such as a blood drive, because maybe we can get, sponsored. But I think it was like $1,000, right, to rent for the blood drive?
I don't know the specifics.
Separate fee for that,
They charged, it was $1,000 or more.
And that may be the separate fee. It may be less, because I
I
know
don't
that
have
we
the
did that
ordinance
because, don't we do it for other public organizations as
We
well?
do it for profit, non-profit, we do it for residents, non-residents. There's, in the ordinance, it's different rates.
Okay.
So, and I think we tried.
The
when-
government
because
entity was
The Red
one.
Cross did contact us in the beginning too, and I think we tried to find them an alternate location.
Yeah, a couple,
Same with the
I
senior
know they
center.
also use the library, they use the Y across from the police station.
Yeah.
That location was just very good because there's a lot of local people that they get. They sell it out every time they go.
Right
One of the
there at
residents
Nottingham.
was the one calling me about it.
Right.
it's so convenient, and it's not like they're using the kitchen, they're not
Right,
using
I know.
any facilities, they're looking to do it, that's why I was thinking if there's a way for a blood drive or something, if there's a way we could charge them less, because it's dual purpose, right?
Yeah.
On one side, we're providing a space for a great event, and on the other side, and I understand we still want to make some money, but
Sure. Well, we can certainly make the suggestion when we propose things for ordinance changes and see where we can go from there.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
That's go up a couple times.
What are we up to? Are we up to Oktoberfest?
I don't know. Where are we
Oh,
next? Grafton to what?
Grafton to, well, we just did Nottingham Ballroom,
I see Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest.
Any comments on Oktoberfest?
I'm still getting.
Looks like everything's in line.
Again, any increases you're seeing are the cost of product that we have to pass on, whether it be corn stalks or hay or whatever we all have to encounter to be able to provide for this event.
Okay.
There are larger percentages with salary and wages, but that's because they came in below last year, what was budgeted. So therefore, the increase looks larger this year. So some of those increases are deceiving. They're not as large as they look.
Well, and just to clarify, that percentage change, right, from what the budgeted amount is for '25, it's versus the actual amount spent, not the prior budgeted year, right? So if they spent less because they had vacancies or such, whatever, that's going to be the calculation of that increase. So like, for instance, on public health that we're going to next, or soon, it's showing like a 15.5% increase in salary and wage, but that's because they underspent their budget by about 60,000. So
sticking with public health and going down where it says other equipment and supplies, it would look like page maybe 5.
okay,
You know what number? The number.
What is that?
Oh, that's 058, right?
058. Yep.
Yes, so when you look at that number, right?
Yeah.
Across the board, we've budgeted all the way back to 2020, 34,000. All the way to last year, we budgeted 18,000. We've never gone, since 22, we've never gone above 9,000. Why would we then budget all the way back up to 18,000 and do a 90% increase?
Because we're losing grant money.
That's
We're
fine.
supplemented by grant money for a lot
That's
of
fine.
things. in
That's what we
public
want
health. So
why we're
that's
asking.
exactly why.
Yeah, that's a great question.
And the next one, 2 down for medical expenses, would that be the same? Because you're up 51% there. Is it all from losing the grants?
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's not even just from losing it. I mean, we've had grant funding for the last couple of years, so we knew that this day was coming anyway. So we kept it because there's also grants are, especially the state grants, they allow you to buy as many apples as you want. But if I want to buy oranges, I can't buy oranges off the grant. You can only buy apples. So if we need something occurs and I need oranges, I have to go to the budget. Thankfully, it has not been the case, but specifically for 093, like this is like like if there was an emergency, let's say we had, God forbid, a hepatitis A outbreak and I need, or measles. Measles is $1,000 for 10 doses. So if I needed to go out and buy vaccine, that's where this is coming from. We have not, thankfully, had not had to utilize the full extent of this budget because we were able to offset it from grants, but it's also kind of our emergency fund as well. Should there be an unexpected public health event that we need to spend money on.
Thank you. It's funny how a lot of the big increases that we've seen up to this point for the budget have either been like professional service agreements, right? I just saw one here, for the software, stuff like that, and because we're losing grants.
Yes,
Our
because we
budget-
covered all of that with
Yeah.
grant funding, as Chris said, as long as it was,
don't
approved,
want-
an orange or an apple, but it was approved. And unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of shortcomings because of the failure for us to get the grants at this time.
Yeah, and we're seeing it across the board, not just with,
Yeah.
your department.
Throughout all the departments, everywhere in the budget, you see that, it may have touched it in some way, even in small ways, and then to bigger pieces too, so.
And especially health, it seems like you
Yes.
guys were among the worst.
Yes,
Worst
we
hit.
were.
They were the first hit, and then the rest,
Yeah.
are falling into place, so,
So we're talking federal grants primarily?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Federal funding, yes.
Yeah.
And I guess this is the other edge of the sword, right? You guys did such a great job of maximizing that in the services you've been able to provide, thanks to that money. So.
Good reminder. Good reminder.
Okay, do you have any other, I don't know where you're at next in your,
I guess for recreation?
Yeah.
I'm only done the senior citizen program.
Yeah, I kind of skipped right through rec. I mean, if anybody sees anything, but
I just noticed there was a 50% increase in supervisor salaries and wages, and is that another grant?
that's because we had somebody totally on that grant, correct?
Which one is that?
In recreation, are you
recreation.
speaking about?
Yeah, in
in rec,
recreation.
it's
Yeah. At the bottom of the page.
Yes.
point number
Yeah.
14.
So we had a fully 100% person funded by grant monies in recreation.
Okay.
We took on that burden.
Okay.
We got September 1st. Ain't nothing there.
And it's saying you're working on the replacement of some of the furniture, fixtures, equipment.
Improvements for staying house, yes, absolutely. For all of our properties, we need improvement. Sand and Grafton, of course, we're working on some capital improvements at Sand, working with Public Works on trying to get some folks for the exterior, as well as some of the work interior.
Exterior work at Sand on the house. You're involved in that too, Chuck?
He's very involved.
Yeah, the team's working with them.
Okay. It's kind of a joint effort.
We're trying to find out the best method to preserve it.
Nice when our departments work so well together.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Senior citizens.
Anybody got senior?
Yep.
Some
Not really much
senior-
changes.
An increase in advertising. Of Google advertising.
Yeah. Buy new soccer goals, where are they going to go?
What we buy in soccer goals, they go on, I'm not sure which field needs them
Okay.
at the moment, to be honest with you, but
Probably the portable, the ones that roll.
yeah.
I'm guessing.
I'm sure they get damaged from moving them constantly.
I just noticed it was a line item, new soccer goals.
So we get asked every council meeting if the phones are working yet? I hear the phones are working.
They are working today. Yes, this afternoon they are working. We were able to hear some pretty music when it rings.
Nice.
Good.
It's nice to get positive feedback when they ask.
Yeah, and as people working, like, they're different phones, so we gotta learn how to use them, transfer, do all of that other stuff, and set up our voicemails and all of the things you do with the home phone system.
I guess.
They did the
How about the
changeover today, and
Today was the changeover.
yes, 10
Yeah.
o'clock this morning, and it's
Perfect.
about 45 minutes, and, we've got a handful of, minor things that need to be addressed, and it's looking
Any new
good.
system going online, that's going to be true, right?
Yeah.
So,
How about the generator? Is that up and running yet?
the one at the senior center, or
The shelter.
So both generators are in the Department of Public Works' hands, and they are working, and you can ask Chuck, but they're working hard to get that moving.
Okay, good.
speaking of which, I think we're all set. Kathy, thank you.
No, I got a question.
Spoke to-
Under line item, under 104, I guess where it was the donations to the leagues. Okay, so each individual leagues, we give stipends out still?
That's correct.
We still, is that for every player in the league or out of non-residents included?
So at this point in time, it's not per capita.
Okay.
It's still
Just
just
a-
a general stipend until the administration and the Parks and Recreation Committee come up to an agreement. So it's still the way we've been doing it.
Okay,
Not per head, not per capita.
okay.
Not resident, non-resident, it's all just about the stipend right at the moment.
But if you were to separate it though, in a sense, right? If you had 100 players in one league and you're giving them X amount of dollars, if you put $1 per player value on that, right? That would mean you're still.
And residency clause, yes,
Well, if you had a residency clause,
correct.
right. Just something I've been
I know.
watching and trying to get it straightened out one of these days, but we'll see.
The numbers do vary, right? I mean, it varies from league to
What's your
league.
concern?
Let's
Oh, I
see.
see it.
Non-residents.
Babe Ruth gets maybe the largest amount, or no,
Any baseball.
boys soccer gets the largest
Hamilton,
amount.
North Burlington, Nottingham has players from out of the area playing.
Why?
They don't have the players. So instead of Nottingham.
We don't know, what's the basis for that? Is there a
The stipend
specific,
amounts were
just customary at this point, what we're doing, or?
their past practice. That is what they have been giving for years. The Sockers received the most because they had the most players, the most teams. But it is being considered for revision. It
And
has
by the
been-
way, we're not talking about a huge amount of money here, just
No,
in
but
case anybody,
But it has been
watching
up
on
for
TV.
revision and Parks and
it's
Recreation.
not a
and
huge amount.
Councilman Whalen
I,
and Director of Public Works and myself and our teams have all been working with our Parks and Recreation Commission to try and resolve that. We haven't come to a conclusion as of yet to present to the administration, but they are working on it.
as Council President said, it's not a large number, and it has nothing to do with the number in my mind. It's between what's right and wrong. That's all. End of
Yeah,
story.
I-
We don't need to elaborate on it anymore. I got the answer I wanted to hear, and I'm sure we'll discuss it as we move forward when we have a Parks and Rec meeting.
Absolutely.
Where the number is zeroed out for the Hamilton parade, the Memorial Day parade? We don't ever give them, I guess there's no money involved in that?
Firehouse space.
We have an agreement with them since purchasing Nottingham Ballroom. We have an agreement. As part of that agreement, they're still doing the parade. We give them a separate stipend for that for the first few years, and then after that, they're on their own. So we're still in the midst of paying that. And it was attached kind of to the sale of the property as well. So it's not just for the parade, but part of their requirement is to continue doing the parade while we're paying those extra amounts.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I know the Grovo Parade is, you know, one of the older parades, and
Yeah.
if there's any way that we could increase the 2,000 we give them, I mean, it's a lot. To run that parade is a lot. If there was a way that maybe we could increase or, you know, somewhere, somehow.
So have them put in a request to the mayor's office or to the administration, and we
Okay.
always take a look at that because we recognize, right, that costs go up and all of that. And if you notice in here, we do have an adjustment line item that kind of gives us a little bit of leeway.
Okay.
So, you know, and again,
Oh,
I don't know, I don't make those decisions, so I don't know what would justify that, but, you know, it's a possibility. We'll certainly entertain the request.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for health, recreation, senior, and veteran services? Kathy, Chris, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Feel free to email us with any other questions that might come up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I didn't mean anything by that.
I asked him which of these have his non.
Oh, okay.
Nottingham Burlington, or going to Hamilton Burlington.
But the money is for the leagues to keep the cost down because it's so expensive. Like Hamilton Bay Brews gets murdered with the lights.
Oh,
Good night.
goes to the utility.
Thank you,
bill.
Captain.
Goes to the utility.
Yeah, their utility bill is outrageous. They're trying to schedule night games, so they don't have, because they can't afford to put the lights on.
That's tough.
They got put into like a business,
tough on
a
parents.
business line instead of so Hamilton Bay Brews electric bill is at the highest possible rate. They get murdered. So they're trying to schedule day games instead of night games. It's a problem.
Yeah.
But they also have less kids, so you can spread the season out differently, right? Because there's not as many kids around.
Okay. Chuck,
Yes.
thank you for joining us. I forget your name.
Dana.
Dana.
This is
Thank you
Dana.
for joining us,
You're
Dana. Any opening remarks, Chuck?
I do have a mission statement that our team put together, and I'm quite proud of it, so I'd like to read that to you, if you don't mind. Always striving to better the level and quality of customer service, the Department of Public Works is a hands-on team of professionals dedicated to supporting and improving Hamilton's infrastructure and public properties. The DPW is dedicated to enhancing the quality of life in Hamilton and making every effort to maximize the efficient, effective use of Hamilton's resources. The DPW is committed to public safety and providing prompt, courteous, and quality service to our residents and businesses. DPW consists of the Division of Roads, which is responsible for the maintenance and improvement of approximately 625 lane miles of roadway, the operations and maintenance of the Harry Benassi Ecological Facility, and manages the township-wide fleet through the garage services. The Division of Buildings and Grounds, which is responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of all public buildings, facilities, and structures, includes 38 properties, 157 individual structures, 34 occupied structures. And the Division of Parks, which is responsible for the maintenance and upkeep of all public parks, recreation centers, open space, stormwater basins, approximately 2,634 acres of land. And in addition to that, we also manage the Township solid waste collection services. With that,
2,000,
634
it's a lot of acres.
acres.
And it's split up into all different shapes and sizes throughout which is one of the challenges. I always think about those little random pieces of land that, and we've had conversations, there was the stub roads, those kinds of things, that fall under your responsibility to you know, and
There-
that's a challenge, right? Because it's,
Yeah.
you know, it's one thing if you have a 10-acre plot to maintain that, but if you have 5 or 10 plots of less than an acre with varying, you know, challenges with each plot of land, it's a challenging thing.
Yeah, they range from a small circle in a cul-de-sac to hundreds of acres at Veterans Park.
Yeah.
Everything in between.
So, can you talk a little bit, your personnel, can you talk a little bit about your personnel, numbers?
Okay.
You guys mind if we start there?
No, it's number one.
Yeah.
I go by this.
Yeah, you're right though.
Okay.
Just remember.
What's that?
If
I
we,
think it's about
yeah, if we,
Cut
there
down capital so much.
hasn't been a ton so
A
far.
lot of
Actually,
the
does she have anything?
She may be down to minimal things, if anything, so.
She's trying to keep it out of capital.
So what we ended up doing
Yeah,
too.
I just
is
remembered
that
just now.
The requests are in there, so you could see that, what they requested, but at the same time,
She doesn't have anything for requests.
we might have taken those out then.
Yeah.
Only because, we pulled up for every department, every division, if they had old unused capital. So sometimes there's capital balances in there that they never, or that small projects or equipment they never used those monies. And now they have a need for something similar, so they can use those old capital funds for that. So that's what we've had them do so that we can keep our capital budget lower this year in particular. It's much lower than it normally is.
So previously allocated, is there a window for those previously allocated? Like, is there a period of time in which, like, if we approve an F-150 for Chuck, how much time does he have to actually buy that vehicle?
So,
Well, generally,
5
they're
years,
pretty
right?
good about.
5 years?
But we buy it as quick as we
That's a
can.
rule of thumb that we kind of use. And the CFO, so Eugenia takes a look at all of our old capital, and she's really good about keeping on top of, we bring it to you, a cancel resolution, right, every year that will cancel the old balances because, and the thought is that if you have a 2020 ordinance, right, and you're just getting around to spending those funds, we have to borrow money for it. And if it's a 10-year life, we only get to borrow that over 5 years because we've wasted 5 years of the life
So
of
then you
that,
have
right?
to, so better to reapprove.
Better
start
to
from- start the clock,
reallocate it
restart
or
the
do a
clock.
new ordinance for some things. So that's why we said, but for these other, other things, as long as you're within that window, you're okay. So the funding isn't going to make that much of a difference on that.
I seem to recall inflation causing some problems, like where we allocated
Yes.
for equipment and then inflation made it hard to even find,
Yes.
equipment that we could get for the amount we had budgeted.
Yes,
for
and that's
that.
the reason why some are still sitting there, because it wasn't enough by the time they got their quotes and decided to do whatever the purchase or the project was. We hadn't approved enough because the prices had gone up enough. And that happens too, even with the new ordinance sometimes, but not often. We usually try to put enough in there that will cover that, but, okay.
Great. So, do you want to talk a little bit about personnel, like what your needs are this year?
Okay, we have approximately 160 people budgeted in the Department of Public Works. And that's spread out through all the divisions, including the administrative staff in our office. We are
Did you have
looking-
some vacancies last year? Were there some open positions?
I do have some vacancies. I had some people retire, and we're backfilling those positions. Also, some of the people that left had a higher skill set than the people we're able to get. So we're investing in our newer employees and training them and
And that's a
bringing them
good
up to
thing.
speed so that we hope to have a good path in the future.
Good. They're probably at the top of the pay grade too, the folks who retired. Anybody got anything? How has it been, is Trenton Waterworks continuing to cause a challenge for you with the roads?
We've,
Is that a sore subject? Did I hit on a?
I'm sitting here going, scream it out, yes!
We need to hear.
But Chuck is like so patient and really working to get the best outcome with that, and so
yeah,
you can.
we've been reaching out to people from Trenton Waterworks, and they've been much more responsive recently than in the past, and we are getting numbers, we are getting reports back from them, so remain hopeful that we keep moving in this direction.
Is it holding up any of your projects as far as road work?
They actually, we did give them a list of some roads that we wanted some cold patch repairs done, and they did attack that first. And we're grateful they did that. You know, they did jump on that for us.
I'm saying we're still in the habit of not doing any roads until any utility work is complete.
Absolutely. We don't want to do double work. We don't want to get ourselves in a jam, pave a road, and then open it up 10 times.
Yeah.
So there were some conversations between us and engineering and Trenton Waterworks, and it's starting to go in a better direction than it was.
Good.
My point is, and not to belabor this, is the fact that if there's a Cruiser Road's being done and we have work that needs to be done, whether it's through public service or Trenton Waterworks, we're not paving that road until it's done, correct?
No.
Right.
No, we'll put it off.
Yeah.
And we'll hold it off. Get everybody in, get it out, because it's going to have a 5-year moratorium once it's done. And then any openings will have to go curb to curb, and, you know, it's going to be even more expensive. So
Yeah.
it's the smartest way to do it.
Great, thank you.
How challenging has it been for you with inflation and everything going up?
That's a challenge, getting materials. With this building alone, we're working on an issue with this building with the air conditioning, and it's, you know, we've got to get materials from China, and we have a small, a few $100s in parts, might take a month to get, and you know, whoever thought you'd be faced with that. So we're trying to work with our HVAC company, coming up with ways to get some air conditioning going before it's the heat of the season, so.
I think the chairs and the wallpaper in this room, we could probably sell to the Smithsonian and pay for the building.
I was thinking Janice won't be complaining about the cold anymore.
Well, you're not
Looks
ready
good,
for Christmas,
looked
though.
good that year, I'm sure. How are we doing at Cruiser Park with the, you know, like that old barn building, like if you're looking at
The maintenance building in the back?
Yeah, you were gonna do some work there?
Yeah,
How's
we
that
do,
going?
we do have some money in capital to do that. One of the things, some of the work we're gonna do is gonna have to be done in-house. So we did do the roof on the water tower. We did do the built-in gutter repairs around the top of the building, some siding repairs on the building. There's a lot more that needs to be done. It's an old building. Our carpenter retired, and I guess getting new people with skill sets that are along those lines. So we do have some good new staff. And like I said, I'm hoping for them in the future to pick up where some of the people that we lost left off, and we can continue those repairs in-house as much as we can to save as much, from hiring a company to come out and do it and, spending a lot of money on it.
How's our generator projects going?
The animal shelter, they just filed the permits for the animal shelter. They had an issue with getting contractors. We hired a company off the CNJ co-op to do the project, and there was an issue with their electrical contractor. So they got rid of the first one, hired a second one, went over the project with them, and revised the drawings and submitted the drawings. I believe the permits are just about ready, so that should be moving along. We did get the equipment delivered, and that one should be coming along soon. The senior center generator is being ordered. That's expected to ship and be on hand fall of this year. And then the police station, now that we're working with a company that's able to do the electrical, we have drawings for the police station to get rid of the rental generator at the police station and replace 60 kW in the garage. And we're looking to see if this company is going to be capable of doing that. Like to get through one project with them first, see how that goes before I commit to too much.
Good.
Now, who's doing the tree planting? Was that you or was that Fred?
Fred
The
usually
tree
handles
that-
the,
Rob Hopper, I think.
yeah,
It was
proper.
Rob,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
that
would be
fell
under
under
Fred.
Fred.
Under Fred.
All right. I'm just thinking about Cruiser. It seemed like a lot of trees have died there at Cruiser.
Members of our staff are on the shade tree committee, and I do believe they work with Rob and Fred as well
Okay.
to determine what areas need to be planted and what we meet with our parks team and see, where we can use more trees, which ones are dying.
Okay. I know there've been problems with different types of blight with trees throughout I mean, that was the impetus behind that big tree project that's been going on. The ash trees, yeah.
Yeah, the emerald ash borer, that was
Had to
a
take
couple
down a
years ago.
bunch at Vets, the pine trees, the evergreens.
They've redone that area. It looks
It
pretty
does look
good
good.
right now.
It looks
with the-
good.
With the blossoms. They planted them so that they bloom a little bit off of each other. So if you look, it's a little scattered. It
Oh, nice.
looks nice. I went through there earlier today.
Veterans always looks great.
Mhm.
You guys
Thank
do a
you.
great job there.
Just the cost of goods, when you look at the cost
Yeah.
of tools and the cost of parts, it's up 14, 15% right off the bat.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're able to make ends meet.
Like Kathy said,
Haven't seen the last of it.
They also know magic. They do that on the side, but you've got a great staff, and and Chuck's great about working with us on everything. So, I know it's hard, and you get good at it after a while. So you've been here long enough. You're good at it. So
thank you.
Big plans for the tennis plaza.
Yeah, we have big plans. We got
Plans.
almost what
Medium
we
plans?
were looking for. So we definitely want to get rid of the hazards out of there. There's some tripping hazards on the patio and the concrete. And there's some retaining walls. So we're going to take whatever we can get and we'll work with it. If we can do more work with our team in-house, we'll do that and still try to get to where we were headed.
Now, the tennis courts come out of Kathy's budget when we do tennis courts. Do we have any courts on the?
she may be using her old court.
For
Yep.
Kathy, there was no money for Kathy.
Oh, there is no money in the.
Right. I think she's using, I don't know what her plan was. That would have been good too.
Well, we have courts, we've authorized courts that haven't been repaired yet, right? That's one of those, an example of one of those
Well, I know she's
items.
had some repaired already this year or whatever.
There's some in dire need, like,
Yeah.
there's some that are unplayable at vets.
Yeah, so I'm sure she's right on top of it, because generally she has a rotation that the worst ones, that's what she puts the attention to, so. I can get that answered for you, though.
Thank you.
I'm gonna get you
Should
the
have
answer
asked
on
while
the
she was
salary
still
and
here.
wage, too.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the rink too. Remember, we had run into issues with the.
Well, yeah, we had
replacement tiles
plans
of the
to
rink.
get that resurfaced,
Yeah.
I
For
believe.
where?
The rink.
The hockey rink, that would be
Roller
great.
hockey.
Oh, we did?
We did.
That's public
Uh,
works.
Yeah, so where are we with the rink?
Okay, so we had a surface put
Right,
there,
I remember, yeah.
okay? Company came in and did it. There was a few things wrong with the installation. I went back, tried to find the company, I couldn't get any responses, so I ended up going to the manufacturer. Then that person that installed it is no longer in business, but the manufacturer saw our need and our problems, and we had it well documented. I got to thank my team for doing that. And they agreed to come out and make the proper repairs and install it properly, put a fabric down, remove the surface, replace the surface, and pin it in place. So they're scheduled to come out. In fact, I just got an email tonight. They want to come out on the 28th and do that and start that. So we were asked by the league to hold off until after the 13th. So I told them, yeah, go ahead, you know.
Good.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, there were some gaps or something, right? In the,
When they play on the surface, I don't know if it's just a league play or if it's, you know, people playing maybe with rollerblades or different things, but it tends to push it and pull it apart. So it's, the whole surface acted like it was sliding around. So they believe they have a fix that'll take care of it. They sent people out over the winter to take a look at it. We met with them several times, and I feel confident this is the manufacturer coming out,
Great.
supporting the warranty, so
great.
I couldn't ask for any more.
Yeah, that's good news. What else we got for John?
Just again, the service charge, right, the consultant fees up 43%.
What is that?
Consultant fees for the motor vehicles, just stuff that's beyond our control, you know, professional service agreements. CEPs, monthly and annual fees both went up.
Let's take a look.
Software, licensing fees, everything went up. Chuck, under capital, I know the Veterans Park, the plaza,
That's the tennis.
yeah, that was requested at 190,000.
Yeah.
And recommended 95,000. What's not getting done?
Well, that's what I said. We'll take what we can get and we'll take our vision and blend the two together. We'll do as much as we
Is there
can.
any money
in
anywhere
that.
else that you can, if you need it, to help fill those gaps?
Like Kathy was saying earlier, we've combed through our capital. I look through that, once a day? We keep looking at it, looking for more money and in the appropriate areas, you know. So I think we've squeezed that about as hard as we can get it because we still have projects that we have to get done that are in there.
Because that leads me to the next one, is the miscellaneous concrete jobs. You
Now-
asked for 175 and they approved 100.
Yeah.
So what's not getting done that we need to get done?
Well, what we're gonna do with that, whatever we get, that's a new budgeted item for, that's public properties, I put that one in. And so we have a whole list of different areas, some of them in the firehouses, some of them in the parks, where there's tripping hazards and concrete replacements that need to be done. So what we'll do is prioritize the list that we have, and we'll get as much as we can with this amount of money, hopefully ask for it again next year, and we'll continue on that way. Breaking it out this way is probably just as well. We'll get some done, and we'll just keep moving in a positive direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I think about the koi pond, right? You asked for it, it took us a few years to say yes, but eventually we got there, so. And sometimes, there are things we can't do one year that maybe the next year we'll be able to do. And, I mean, you have a plan to prioritize things, and that's the most we can ask for, with these things, right? So I'm confident that eventually the work will all get done.
And that works like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think you explained that to me about the grants, right? So we got a grant for that, right, over at Siam? Did you
Yes.
get grants for that?
Yes.
Right, you get X amount of time to complete that project,
Yeah.
and you lose the grant.
Yeah.
Right?
We lose the funding.
So this is the year, like this summer, we gotta get it done, right?
Yeah.
Now, does it have to be completed or started?
We have to encumber the funds. There's each grant's different with their requirements. I mean, we have to encumber the funds and show that we're getting it done and moving along. They have a portal, which I have Kyle from our office works with us tremendous on that. And he monitors the portal, we update the grant, whoever gave us the grant, DEP, or he'll do progress reports every month. We'll give them constant updates. We'll check with them prior to us getting authorization to get drawings or do any installations, so that we keep it all going and we get reimbursed for everything we spend. Dana works with him as well. She's an important part of our team.
New street sweeper.
Absolutely needed. Thank you for that.
Anybody else got anything else for Chuck?
No.
I think we're gonna let you off the hook, Chuck. We appreciate it. Thanks for all your work.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your mission statement with us. Nice to hear, always good to give some thought to the strategy behind the tactics, right?
Yeah.
So, thank you for that.
Nice to have a vision of the
Appreciate
future.
that.
Forethought, we don't get that too often in the world. It seems like everybody's playing catch up rather than looking ahead.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
thanks, we're all set.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too.
Take care.
Hi, guys.
Get my light project done.
We're adjourned.